Lemuria, or Kumari Kandam, is allegedly the place that civilization came from, the origins of humanity as some claim. How can this be the case? When most people think of the first civilization, they usually think of the ancient Egyptians or Sumerians, civilizations that started some 6,000 years ago. However, there is evidence to suggest that it may have started earlier. Several structures were found across the world to have been dated significantly older than 3500 BCE. Göbekli Tepe is one of the oldest structures found to date. It is considered the earliest religious structure made in the world. It dates anywhere between 8,800 years ago to 11,000 years ago. Both of these dates are significantly older than the first civilization, which was stated to be around 6,000 years old. Göbekli Tepe is proof that there was a civilization before the Sumerians and Egyptians, a fairly advanced one at that with religion. Göbekli Tepe, however, is not the only example of this. Two Middle Eastern structures, such as the Tel Carmel and the Tower of Jericho, were both dated to be around 11,000 BCE and 8,000 BCE, respectively. Other places around the world have items that raise such questions as well, such as the Jaihu Civilization campground located near the Yellow River in China. Their people showed the first signs of writing ever discovered, something more advanced than what we initially thought possible for the time being. Notice how the structures above never mention India, the place where the myth of Kumari Kandam originated from. Could it be perhaps that it is underwater? Two significant discoveries can prove this. Discovery of an ancient underwater city known as Dwarka was discovered in the Gulf of Cambi, a vast city that was carbon dated to be around 9,000 years old. The implications for this discovery are huge. Not only do we have to question the idea that civilization started in Mesopotamia, but also the idea that perhaps we should be looking for evidence of civilization in the oceans rather than on land. Another piece of evidence, although not as significant, is the existence of Adam's Bridge, or the Great Rama Bridge. This is a small chain of landmasses that loosely connects Sri Lanka to India. Curiously, an Indian epic spoke of this bridge, saying how it was a bridge used to connect Sri Lanka to India to help Rama save his wife Sita. This was clearly inspired by the chain connecting the two islands. However, wouldn't it make more sense if the bridge actually connected the two islands? For this and Dwarka to have existed, the sea level must have been lower at some point in the past. Around 12,000 to 7,000 years ago, the water level during this period, known as the early Holocene period, had a sea level of around 60 meters higher than today. This would make sense since the city of Dwarka was carbon dated to be around 9,000 years old, right in the middle of these periods. Could the possibility of Kumari Kandam being under the Indian Ocean be true as well? Let's gather some evidence. According to a discovery by South African researchers, they found evidence of a subcontinent below the island of Mauritius. Now, underwater continents aren't something new. We have evidence to show that New Zealand had a significant amount of land underwater as well, which had sunk nearly 80 million years ago. The South African researchers also found that the small island had a presence of minerals known as zircons. Through radiometric dating, it was found that the age of these zircons were nearly 3 billion years old. This is odd since the island of Mauritius is only several million years old. Interestingly, the continent under Mauritius used to be a buffer zone between India and Madagascar, connecting the two over 146 million to 100 million years ago. Afterwards, it broke apart, forming Madagascar, India, and the islands of Mauritius. If we look at Google Maps, then we can see a thin line of islands, including the Maldives, Chagos, Mascarene Plateau, along with Mauritius. They form a small chain nearly connecting Madagascar to India as an archipelago, similar to the ones by the Philippines and Indonesia. When ocean levels were lower, say 12,000 to 7,000 years ago, could it not also have been possible for islanders to live there during this period? Perhaps this is where the Dravidians came from, India's original ethnic group. Since Dravids are known to be genetically closer to Africans, this adds credibility to the idea that the islands of Mauritius were once above water, allowing for the early people of Africa to go from Madagascar to India, perhaps leaving remnants of a long-lost civilization. Now, Lemuria was stated to be a continent that spans from Madagascar to Australia. I don't believe that to be the case. mainly due to the fact that Lemuria's existence was ruled out because of continental drift theory. Another reason is that there isn't any evidence of a sunken continent, as we can see with both Mauritius and New Zealand, both of which have a raised seabed. Because of that reason, I believe that there was once an archipelago connecting Madagascar to India. This could prove that Kumari Kandam did once exist, validating the Vedic texts of the Tamil people, as well as explaining the origin of the people of the Indus Valley. Does that mean that Tamil people were the first civilization? I can't say for sure, but I do believe if we spend some time looking in Mauritius, we can perhaps find more evidence of underwater cities, proving that the civilization is significantly older than we originally believed. As Napoleon would put it, history is a version of events that people agree upon. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.